Hello everybody, it's Bourbon Bill, and tonight, a very special video full of critical thinking. Special shout out to your drinking buddy who challenged us to pick one bourbon to drink for the rest of our lives. That's it. You can only have one bourbon as the challenge. So if you're not watching the Your Drinking Buddy channel, go do it. It's a great channel. He does a lot of great reviews over there. He's into a little more things than we are on this channel, right? But this channel is a little more focused on its bourbons and ryes. Alright, so I couldn't just do the bourbon, so we're going to start with ryes. Because I'm looking at it this way. You can only pick one rye, and you can only pick one bourbon. So let's go through a few that I thought of, but didn't pick. A little Wilderness Trail single barrel store pick rye. Quite delicious. I thought about this. Might be the only rye I ever need. It's good, but didn't quite make the cut for a couple of reasons. These are a little bit harder to come by. Obviously they're store picks. They're like 70-ish, mid 70-ish doll hairs for these. So not too cheap and just not easily found, right? If it's like, hey, it's the only thing I can drink, just not that easily found. Next up on the rye list, how could I not include one of my favorite ryes of all time, the Sagamore Port. But again, a once-a-year release, so I'd have to stock up big right at Christmas time when they release these. And and the budget's tight around Christmas, we gotta buy gifts. So, probably the one you thought would win, Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Proof Rye. A fantastic rye if you haven't had one of these. Do love these. But, this one happens to be 133.2 proof. Compute. 66.60% alcohol by volume. Just a little high for every day and the only one you get. And I love the barrel proofs, but it's just a little high proof for that. So, without further ado, our one and only rye whiskey. You knew it'd be a Sagamore. It's Sagamore Double Oak Rye. A shelfer. Easily found where they sell Sagamore, except for PA. But everywhere else, only 96.6 proof. Compute 48.3% alcohol by volume. So you can drink this and not, it's got tons of flavor at that proof. But it ain't gonna kill you in terms of proof. And it's about $55 hairs a bottle. So it's not too expensive, right? It's not going to hurt you too bad. And, it's just utterly delicious. Coconut, maple syrup, cherries. Oh my God, is that good? That's my one rye, if I can only buy one rye. Now, he asked for bourbon. We went off the rails, okay? So, we're going to go over what I thought for the bourbons. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Hey, she's rather inexpensive at about $75 hairs a bottle. Released 3 times a year. So, but the batches vary, and sometimes the highs are high and sometimes the lows are low. Still a good value no matter what. Kind of, though, fell into the category of a little bit harder to find. And, the proof can be high on these two. Next up. I really wanted to put this as my winner. Jack Daniel's 12-year. You know why? 107 proof is a perfect proof. It's got, just the right amount of proof on there. But, it's not too little. Not too high. It's just right. Porridge bowl, baby. But at about $100 hairs MSRP, released maybe once a year. It's been 2 years now, but we don't know if every year they're going to release this. They did skip a year for the 10s, if you remember from when they first brought those out. So they're just too hard to get, right, to include as my only bourbon. But say if I could get an unlimited supply, right? If I could find it all the time, I'd spend the $95 hairs MSRP for this bottle, and this would be my winner. But I just can't get it all the time, so I just can't, in all honesty, give you that as the answer. Jack Daniel's single barrel proof. Is it the winner? No, sadly no. Love these, available on the shelf all the time in PA for $68 a bottle. But again, it's too high proof for that's all I get to drink, right? I love these. I do go through them, but I just can't drink 130 some proof all the time, and especially if that's the only thing I could get. Right? There's got to be some sort of variation, but you know, sometimes you're in the mood for a little bit lighter proof than this. Our winner, dang Knob Creek Store Picks, baby. And this one happens to be You Can't Handle Proof Store Pick from Drug City in Maryland. I thought about Knob Creek 12. I was going to put that in there. It was 100 proof. But I'm like, you know what? I picked a lower proof rye. So I'm going for the 120 proof. And this one is an 11-year store pick. So it's nearly Knob Creek 12. And it's 120, okay? And I'm going with 120 for one reason. It ain't 130 like the Jack Daniels or what could be some of the Elijah Craig barrel proofs. It's not low proof, but it'd hold up in a cocktail. Although I would never mix this beautiful 11-year. This one was only $59.99 a bottle. So $60, cheap. About $5 more than the rye we picked. But you can find these now pretty much everywhere. Most of them are 9-year, but I've seen some 10s and this 11 cropping up. And this was a 2023 pick, by the way. So if you can find an older one of these, this is it. This is my one bourbon. If I can only have one bourbon, this is it. And that's my rye. And we don't buy other trash like single malts or scotch in this place, all right? You ain't going to see that here. And we don't give a crap about it either. So we ain't going to do any of those. So if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks, everyone. Have a good evening.